In my 10th year, I can tell you that I look forward to this day. It kind of signifies the last time that this camp will be interrupted by media, and it's very sentimental to me because it's my 10th. So we're in camp now a week. We had a nice little walk through the day. We're working hard. The first 4 days of split squads kind of really ensured that this team was in really good shape. We lost some weight. I think we're really in position to have a great camp. The attitude's been good. Offense, quarterbacks are really certainly somebody raised their hand. If I'm good, I got it. Good. The quarterbacks are competing, and as long as they do that, we continue to get better. We have to find a quarterback that can do all the things that these guys can do, and that frankly can execute the offense extremely well. And I think we'll do that. The running backs, good group. McGee and Hilliard are seniors. I think the young guys are very, very talented. I think we'll have fresh legs and a very talented running back core. Offensive line continues to improve, continues to work to get depth. We're looking at guys, and some of these young offensive linemen that are hanging around this William Claps going to be a guy we're going to have to look at and see how he plays. And this young Malone is, again, a guy that has potential to step in and do some playing time. And we're going to watch. So the wide receivers, very talented young group, and a very quality group of upperclassmen. And those guys, I think will be there. I think that it's interesting. We 7 practices in with 29 total. We're really, kind of broad in scope, kind of teaching a bunch of the broad basics. And when we get really after the next 7 practices, we'll know a lot more how we're doing there. The defense, I think defense is certainly ahead of the offense in the fact that they're fast and really getting the ball extremely well. And it seems to me to be a very, very deep, very, very talented defensive unit. Young defensive linemen who stepped in and done some good. Lewis Neal, I think, is going to be a guy that's name you haven't heard much of. He's playing a lot of football. And again, I think some of those young defensive linemen, Frank Heron, some of those guys whose names you don't know are going to be very, very good players. The linebackers are still a strength. I think you look at Quan and the battle that Mike Backer with Beckwith and Welter, Lewis at the other side, and Deion Jones. Those guys are fast and experienced now, and it appears to me to be extremely good. The secondary, I think will be really good at safety and really good at corner. The safeties are with the addition of Jamal Adams, and I think Ricky Jefferson also. This guy is playing really well as a young safety, and I don't know if those 2 guys are certainly in the first group, but I can tell you that they will play a lot of football. Our special teams, Delahousse is coming off a very quality freshman year. I think he'll give us some deeper kicks, and he's hitting the ball well. Jamie Keen's healthy and kicking the ball, very hard, great hang time, distance. Good thing about him, he's been through this a couple times now and understands what's expected of him. And Trent Dumaine has really stepped in and has given us a great, very competitive leg, very big leg at kickoff spots. So we'll have talented returners, number of guys getting to work every day. Coaching staff is a group of men that are great quality professionals. It's nice to have Cam Cameron in a position to mentor these quarterbacks. It's nice to see Chief John Chavis, running the defense. It's really, they're very talented and capable of doing all the right things. And nice to have Bradley Beal Pito back, the special teams guy. He was here with us and my original staff. So it appears to me that the camp so far is good. And it's hard work. It's a grind, but there's improvement. There's great attitude. So, questions? Now, what we'll do here is I'll point.
Thank you. Talk about 10 years. I guess how have you changed in those 10 years? What have you learned here, and how practical has that change worked out for you?
It's gone by so fast. I just can't tell you. I don't know that I've learned a lot. I think the enjoyment of how this team works, the ability that they have, the want to scrap, be competitive. That's been a joy. It's been there every year. So I hope the next 10 years will go as fast as the last.
Hey, Coach, top right, you mentioned that there's a lot more teaching that goes into this fall camp than maybe some others. How does that affect what, I guess jobs are going to be won more on the field, and I guess what does that mean for the first 3 or 4 games of the year and how you guys approach it?
Well, we want to put the team on the field that gives the greatest chance of victory, and we're looking at guys that can go to the field and play, and there's plenty of those. This is a teaching camp by necessity. It's always a teaching camp, and we want to take the veterans and improve their level of play, and we want to take those young guys and put them in a position that that they can step on the field and contribute really right away. If you look at it, we've played 29 freshmen in the last 2 years, and this is a class that a number of freshmen will predict to play, and it's going to be fun. I can tell you one thing, this Trey Quinn, another one. It's a guy that deserves mention. He learns quickly, and he's very talented. I expect him to be one of those freshmen.
Anyone?
Coach, can you talk about the roles of Kendall Beckwith and Ethan Posick? They look good enough to be starters, but I know you guys are trying to find a niche for both of them. Can you talk about those 2 guys?
I would not be surprised that Ethan Posick would start a number of games, and I think he's working at center right now, and I think he's a guy that could play very comfortably at guard, and probably his best position is at center. So there's a guy that really will end up playing as a starter at some point in time in this season, and will finish the career that way. And he's a very talented offensive player. I can tell you Kendall Beckwith is very talented athletically, and really is he and Welter competing very closely for playing time at the right backer. In any event, at some point in time, both or one, whoever's on the field for that matter, will give us great play at right back.
Yeah.
Coach, as a follow-up to what Mike said, 2 things. Can you talk about just surviving double digits in this league as a coach, because not many do, number 1. And number 2, if one of your backs, be it Fournette or anybody else, is head and shoulders above the rest, will it be their job, or will you continue to kind of lean on the backfield by committee?
That's what I call an add-on question. See, he gave me double digits. Now, I was figuring that double digits, he's going to go in and explain that a little bit more. And then he went to running backs. And so what I was going to tell you about double digits is we play double digits every day. It's generally 90 or below, and it's never in triple digits. And as a coach that might have the opportunity to survive double digits, I'm thrilled. I can tell you this career thing is, I never look back. I really think that our best football is in front of us. I'm really worried about the next practice and the next recruiting class, and that's just how you go. At some point in time, 10 years we'll have a greater meeting, and maybe 17 years or 20 years we'll have greater meetings. So now this, you're saying something about Fournette and the running backs?
Yes. Will you, if one is head and shoulders above the rest, will that one play the most, or will you continue to kind of
Yeah,
lean on the backfield?
we've always played the best player, but there's a learning curve with some of the young guys, and those guys, for them to play the entire game, for instance, one, they'd have to be in unbelievable shape, and two, they'd have to know the playbook inside and out, and there would not be then advantages to playing a group. I think there will always be advantages to playing a group, even if one takes the lion's share of the carries and or the lion's share of the snaps. So we'll, with advantage, sub our running backs. No, I pointed here, I'm sorry. You have to pay attention to it. Lucy, nice to see you.
Good to see you. Coach, a lot of your fans are blown away by the stadium, the improvements, especially at night with the purple lights and everything that you see, the stadium, the upgrades, and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think the stadium's taking another step, and it's on the field. When you look at those two jumbotrons in the other end, when you consider how loud that place has been, and now with that closed inside kind of capturing the noise, I think this is going to be an exciting. It was the finest thing in college football. I think it's just taking another step. Right there. Thank you.
Coach, you talked about liking the competition at quarterback, what you've seen so far. Is there a time that you feel it's important to name a starter at that position? And if you can, just tell us what you've liked about the competition at QB.
Yeah, I think that the naming of a starter will be when one separates himself from the other, and where there's a real advantage to name him as a starter, because he needs to recognize, as do the team, that this is where we're going. We're not there, and I can tell you that accountability and the length of time that you need to stand in that pocket and learn the offense. In my opinion, both quarterbacks need that time, and when it's appropriate, or when it's right, or when two quarterbacks aren't going to play, we'll name a starter. But that's never really been the key to me. The key has always been the competition, and I promise you, we'll play a quarterback in every set. So.
I'm going to pull Annette Daniels and do a double duty on you. Could you give us some superlatives on each of the quarterbacks? And then for my second question, just why do you enjoy it so much? So many coaches seem to be pained by this process. You clearly have fun with it and enjoy it. Have you always been that way, even as an assistant coach, or is this just something that's come with time and comfort here in Baton Rouge?
That process being
The collective, just the grind, as you mentioned.
Oh, in other words,
Coaching.
what we're doing, coaching. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think the superlatives on the quarterbacks are, both have good feet, pocket awareness, very accurate throwers. And one's a little faster, one's maybe a little thicker, a little stronger. There's differing skills and differing passes that each guy throws that seems more naturally. I think they're both coming. I think they both recognize that there's some necessary urgency with preparing the offense and understanding the playbook. So I don't know that I separated them at all, which you probably intended by the question, but in any event, That's how it appears to me. I have always enjoyed my life. I think that's a key piece to this, for me to separate myself from my family and to work for 85 guys on scholarship and 125 guys that are on our team, the coaches, families, and their kids. I've really always enjoyed the interaction of football and in every event, including practice and mundane walkthroughs and certainly games.
Coach?
I'll take the one in the red shirt, irrespective of the fact that how many of them are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's really, of the 150 people that are in here, that's really a good turnout. I did recognize that red stripe on your shirt, but it's okay. But
Thank you, Coach. What is your take and what is the immediate impact of the Power 5 vote on LSU and then the Ed O'Bannon case that came down as well?
the Power 5 vote, I think it's good for college football. I think it's a right thing. I think it's I think LSU will certainly look forward to participating, in those rules discussions. And again, I think in the same vein that there will be separation from other conferences, in the same vein, there's probably a necessity not to go too fast. And now, the banning is the rule that you're allowed to use your own likeness as and then the NC2A is in the process of appealing that, correct? That's the legal ruling that you want me to comment on. Yeah, I think that's I think it's really interesting, and college for me was a time where everybody was bored and was really comfortable to wear warm blue jeans, and you just didn't know your shirt wasn't just perfect, but that's the way it was. You were in college. I think that's kind of how I grew up. I think that there's probably legal precedent for now. How do you make that a right rule for everybody? That's a tough one. There'll be some guys whose jerseys will sell for $200,000 a year, and other guys whose jerseys won't let them die. So, it's going to be it's going to be one for the NC2A to adjudicate and make it fair. It's certainly in places in this state, you would have to think that there would be a number of people buy jerseys, and so there'd be schools in the Power 5 conferences where that wouldn't necessarily be the case. And so then you might be able to, in a recruiting talk, say to a young man, you know what, I would be willing to bet. I mean, last year's running back made $200,000 just on selling his shirt. I would just be willing to bet that should you set this up, that might well happen. I think that those kinds of scenarios are something that really needs to be looked at and said which is right and fair. And again, I think we're at a time in the NC2A where there's a lot of necessary scrutiny on what rules need to be in place and what rules do not. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Coach, how do you feel about your depth at defensive tackle, and if there is any update on Travante Valentine?
Travante Valentine is still in the throes of the clearinghouse and making it all work. We're optimistic, but we'll know more when we know more. The other piece of it that
Defensive tackle.
yeah, I think we're really pretty good with the defensive tackle. Left short of Frank Heron, our starters. We think that Quentin Thomas will hopefully get him back here soon. And then I think we're talented behind that. So I think we're good there. And we moved Lewis Neal in there, give us some real quickness, and he's really been exciting to watch.
Obviously, Terrence McGee
something about his leadership because he's got the 18 jersey. Who are a couple of other guys behind closed doors that the coaching staff kind of has tabbed as leaders for this program for this coming season, and why?
Well, the coaching staff certainly has guys in their rooms. There's probably right around 15 what we would call uni council, which is our leadership council. I think there's a number of guys, and I think leadership is evident in Lyle Collins. The guy that's really not eligible to wear 18, a guy that really turned down what was certain wealth at some level to get his degree, play championship ball here, and put himself in position to move his draft status up. So that kind of guy, he's a leader in every level that we break. So I like Tre'Davious White. He's young, but he's a tremendous leader. He's a guy that works hard, does all the right things. I want to say about a 3-point student. So there's a number of guys, and again, we're fortunate to have leadership here.
All right, attempt to stay on time. Coach can take one more question. He'll be available in the indoor for some one-on-ones, but we have players ready, so Coach can take one more, and then we'll move into the indoor facility for player interviews.
Yes, sir.